Good, happy Sunday morning, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to Politics right here on the Riley King Network. Let's get started. Legislators consider added safety regulations for motorized wheelchairs. Lawmakers returned to Concord on Thursday to take a closer look at safety regulations for motorized wheelchairs that operate in the street. As motorized carts and wheelchairs become more common and sometimes move from the sidewalk onto public streets, the state is looking to revamp safety regulations. Lawmakers have debated legislation to require safety equipment for motorized wheelchairs for a few more years now. An amendment discussed Thursday would require carts and scooters operating on public streets during daylight hours to have reflectors on all sides along with a safety flag at least 60 inches high. Violations would result to have a written warning on the first offense, a $5 fine for the second offense, and a $10 fine for the third offense. But not everyone agreed with the opposed legislation. Ryan Donnelly of Granite State Independent Living said that for many with disabilities, getting around is already hard enough. Advocates for disabled said getting in and out of vans with a 5-foot-tall flag would be difficult. Most people who violate the rules of the road receive a ticket or have to pay a fine, but some state representatives said that if you're already operating a motorized wheelchair in the street, chances are you're already facing some kind of financial hardship. They said they fear that even the smallest fine may be too much. And we want to hear from you. Let us know what your thoughts are on all of this. Comment below and let me know. Senators named to marijuana regulatory posts pose legal pot. A Democratic state senator who opposed the ballot question that legalized recreational marijuana was named Wednesday by Republican Governor Charlie Baker to regulate board that will oversee the cannabis industry in Massachusetts. How does a presidential pardon work? President Donald Trump has exercised his pardon power for the first time, using it to pardon former Arizona Sheriff Joe Arpaio. A look at the president's unique power. Where does the president pardon come from? Article 2, Section 2, Clause 1 of the Constitution says the president shall have power to grant reprise and pardons for offenses against the United States, except in case of impeachment. The president's power can only be used to pardon someone for a federal crime, not a state one. How does the pardon process usually work? Someone who has been convicted of a federal crime and wants to be pardoned makes a request for a pardon to the Justice Department offense, the pardon attorney, which assists the president in exercising his pardon power. The department rules tell pardon seekers to wait at least 5 years after their conviction or their release from prison, whichever is later, before filing a pardon application. And that's how basically a pardon works. Analysts, Trump made controversial moves as nation focuses on hurricane. You could call it the art of the dump. In Washington, Friday afternoon are known as time when public officials may take controversial actions for which they want to draw little notice. Last night, the fourth Hurricane Harvey heading toward the Texas coast, the public may have been paying even less attention to politics than usual for the end of a work week. Then it came a pair of controversial moves by the administration and the Department of Division's figure in the White House, all over the span of 3 hours. First, at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, came the announcement that President Trump had sent a much-anticipated memo to the Pentagon codifying his seemingly impromptu Twitter announcement last month to ban transgender people from the armed services. Exactly 2 hours later, the second story, the White House sent a press release announcing Trump's pardon of Joe Arpaio, the highly controversial former sheriff of Maricopa County, Arizona, who is revered and admired from his harsh treatment of undocumented immigrants. The press release and subsequent tweet by the president lunged Arpaio for admire service made no mentions of facts that the pardon was for the sheriff. Conviction on criminal contempt for violation a federal court order that he stopped detaining people slowly for immigration offenses. The pardon, Trump's first as president, appears to distinguish him from other recent presidents who awaited to issue their most controversial pardons or communications until the end of their terms. The news on Friday didn't stop there. Just minutes after word came of Arpaio pardon, the conservative news site The Federalist posted what it called a resignation letter for Sebastian Gork, a special assistant to Trump, who had drawn sanction for his alleged ties to a far-right Houston nationalist group and questions over his national security expertise. News sites quoted the letter from Grok to Trump saying, "Regimentally outside of yourself, the individual who most embedded and represented the policies that will make America great again have been internally convicted, systematically removed, or undetermined in recent months. A White House official later confirmed that O'Rourke was no longer working there, but said he had not resigned, sparing speculations that he may have been forced out. And that does it for politics with Riley King. I hope you all have a great rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you back here next Sunday for another edition of Politics with Riley King. And I hope you all have a great week, everyone. Goodbye.